really feel privileged to be invited to share some of my experiences. And my goal today is to take you through some insights about setting up PMM teams in early to mid-stage startups. So let's dive in. And, before really beginning, I just want to call out, I want to start by acknowledging the impact of the pandemic on all of us. Many of you who are here today as an organizer, a presenter, volunteer, or attendee have, most likely been impacted directly or indirectly. And it really takes courage to make yourself available for learning and contributing at such events during this time. So thank you for being here, and let's definitely keep our hopes up, right? So I guess you already asked about this poll, and did we get any responses? I can't hear you if you were saying anything, sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah, we did have a couple of responses where a few of them said that they do have a product marketing function in their organization today.
That's great, because that's really the, where I wanted to start. And why I put this maybe option is that, before we really answer this question, I want to talk about something else, right? And really sort of, if you zoom out into early stage marketing teams, a couple of points. One, no marketing teams look the same. Two, marketing is broad, even within the vertical of growing SaaS startups, and there are a ton of marketing sub-functions out there, right? And third, titles are always changing because we are making our own market, because we are marketing our own marketing roles. So as marketers, we find all of this very exciting, and therefore we try and market ourselves, and therefore you always have these fancy new titles coming up, and that can be confusing for a startup founder or non-marketeers that, what are these marketings folks up to? But having said that, let's, really talk about three sort of early stage marketing functions. And I saw a session which somebody was going to do, like really differentiating between growth marketing and demand generation. I'm definitely going to watch that if I've already missed it. But at a very broad level, I think that there are three core sort of functions that are there in early stage marketing teams. So growth marketing, what's the definition? These are the marketeers who are, where you launch, track and optimize programs, campaigns across multiple channels to move prospects and customers through the funnel, right? And what growth marketers really own is distribution channels like demand gen, inbound, website ops, marketing tech stack, A/B testing, ad budgets. So it's a pretty big function. In my experience, sometimes growth marketing and demand gen is used interchangeably. But like I said, I think there was an interesting session which talks a little bit more about that. Then what is content marketing? Content marketing, content marketeers are the ones who really own the content calendar and tell the story of your brand and company in order to engage prospects, customers, candidates, and partners, right? So it's what really do the content marketers own? They own the content calendar, blog, voice and tone, content distribution, often organic social media. Sometimes, they also own customer marketing efforts, especially the aspect of customer stories and case studies in partnership, I would say, with product marketing. So now really coming to the crux of it, what is product marketing? Product marketing, at the core of it, they are the folks who communicate about the product and its benefits to the audience of the organization, right? And they are the liaison between the product organization and go-to-market teams. Go-to-market teams being sales, marketing, BDR functions, SDR functions, etc. So what is it that they own? They own messaging and positioning, customer feedback to the product, GTM relationship with product and sales. Product marketing also owns sales enablement content, often works very closely with the sales enablement function. They own pricing in partnership with finance or ops. They work very closely with partner marketing. They own competitive analysis and, of course, product launches. So I'm really rushing through this because, I spend so much time. But, moving on to the next question, which I really wanted to touch upon, is that when is the best time for your first PMM hire? The interesting thing is actually that someone is always playing the role of a product marketer. Whether you have a product marketing team or not, somebody is playing that role. And in the very early stages, it is most likely your founder, the founding team, maybe the product head. These are typically the people who are sort of playing the role of the product marketing function. So then the question becomes that when is the right time, right? And I want to again sort of switch this question around and say that what are the signs that will tell you that it's the right time to hire a product marketer? Like, we were talking earlier, and somebody, I think Vikrant asked that, can you define that? Oh, at this ARR rate is when you should get into product marketing. I don't think it's as simple as that, but there are some signs. So, what are some of those signs? Number one is whoever your proxy PMM is, your founder or the product head. Proxy PMM starts burning out and just cannot be part of every pitch any longer, right? So the organization is at a certain scale where it's impossible for that proxy PMM to, communicate the value proposition in the succinct, best way and, keep refining that value proposition based on the new customers that you're getting and the new use cases that you're building for your customer. So that's, one clear sign. Another sign is that, you start seeing inconsistent messaging about the product value proposition on the website and sales collateral. This is another telltale sign because it means that the organization has scaled. Multiple people are pitching and people are creating their own versions of what the value proposition and messaging should be. So these are some clear indications that, you might as well have your first PMM hire in place. And that is like more for, I would say, very early stage, startups. But another question can be that when is a good time to expand the function, right? So you've got your first product marketer. The person is really focused on, all those aspects which I mentioned earlier, messaging and positioning, providing customer feedback to the product org, and they're doing that job. So when is it time to add the next product marketer and really start building on the function? There, I would say there are 4 factors. Number one, you have, you're introducing many more feature sets, and therefore this one product marketer can't sort of stay on top of all the feature sets. That could be one. You actually expand into another product line. Again, a good indication of, getting a second product marketer. You might be expanding to different geographies, and therefore your buyer personas and user personas might change, and you may need you may need to expand the team, and you may want to be more intentional in your go-to-market effort. And what I mean with that is that you might become more specialized in terms of verticals that you're going to focus on or specific industries, and that's another key indication that okay, it's time to hire your to start really expanding your product marketing team. So once you've established that, you are ready, what are the key skills to look at in your product marketing team? And here I'll go back to those 3 functions which I mentioned earlier, and I explained a little bit about them. And what I want to share is that ideally, your first few hires should have hybrid skills. They should have depth in about 1.5 areas. So your first choice, ideally, is somebody who has product marketing and growth marketing skills. So they should be an expert in one and very competent in the other, right? Your second choice is maybe content and product marketing. So maybe a content marketer who has also done some product work and so on. could be a good fit. The reality is it's very rare to find someone who's really truly excellent in all of these three areas. And that is a person who has built marketing teams multiple times before, is very and has a lot of deep hands-on experience in all of these three areas. And that will be your senior, VP or CMO level leader that, once you're ready to hire, you may sort of look at. So this is from a more of a hard skills perspective. But I also wanted to talk about a little bit about the soft skills that matter, and really things that honestly that I pay a lot of attention to. Number one is curiosity. You need someone who is inherently curious to be a product marketer. And because this person has to be curious about prospects, about customers, about the product itself, about the market. And unless they have this, sort of unsatiating hunger to keep learning and keep identifying, I think they will struggle to be a good product marketer. The second one I'll say is relationship building. And the reason I call this out is that some of you are product marketers in the discussion or have worked with product marketers who do know that product marketing folks work with multiple functions. They have to liaison with sales, marketing, product team, sales enablement, sales engineering, sales ops, engineering teams, customers, prospects, influencers, partners. The list is sort of endless. So this is not really a job done by somebody who likes to sit at their proverbial desk or sit at their laptops and keep analyzing data and churning out whatever deliverables there are. This is a role performed by individuals who are really good at building those relationships and nurturing relationships. And the third one, which I think again is something which is very, very important to me, is that you want to find somebody who is passionate about the product, passionate about the brand, and passionate about the company. You want a PMM who loves your product, loves the company, loves the brand, and only then you will see true value from the function. So these are the soft skills at entry-level hires that I would say which I really value in product marketers. And of course, there are some good past experiences which are often a proxy of the attributes for PMM roles. These are typically past product experience, entrepreneurship experience. If you're looking at proxies, those and marketing as well. Anybody who's in marketing and has an interest in product, they will be a good fit over here. But fundamentally, what really sets the best product marketers apart is three things: writing skills, storytelling skills, and empathy. And again, the reason why I call out empathy is because it's your ability to put yourself in the prospect's shoes is not easy, and that only comes if you have very strong empathy. So having said that, these skills, writing skills, storytelling, and empathy, you can learn these skills. And so it's not something that, inherently I have to be like really good at writing. You can learn this and you can practice and you can become better. And similarly on these other skills which I mentioned as well, it's possible to really learn these skills. I have 3 minutes and I definitely want to, just quickly share with you that what does a scaled overall product marketing function look like, right? And this is something that I use, 5 phases for a product marketer. Phase 1 is discovery, where you'll do a lot of market intelligence, competitive intelligence, really start understanding what's happening in the market, what's the TAM, who are the competitors in this space. You'll then start using that understanding to build user personas and buyer personas, start articulating use cases, working very closely with the product org, start actually writing down positioning and messaging, maybe working with pricing as well. Launch is the easy one. This is what a lot of product marketers know well, and I won't talk too much. Simple launch plan. And of course, all the kinds of adoption tactics that product marketers are held accountable for. The enable and grow phase is all about working very closely with marketing and sales teams. Enable is where you're building collateral, training, writing demo scripts, and continuously equipping the go-to-market teams to communicate the right value proposition to the right user persona. You also support marketing campaigns and customer stories. And there's an ongoing process of improvement where you have to do a lot of customer and prospect listening, investing in competitive intelligence tools is highly recommended in a slightly more scaled function. Investing in win-loss analysis. There are specialized teams which do win-loss analysis, specialized organizations, and of course, analyst relations as well, really helps in constant improvement. So I know I rushed through these 17, 18 minutes, but I wanted to stick to time. I don't want you to take away from the next few sessions that you have. But
absolutely,
this is what I have, and I'll pause now. So that's it.
Yeah, we have one quick question before we have about a minute more. How do you recommend to have a PMM function before the product market fit has been reached, or after? How is it like?
Yeah, so I think that's what I said. I would say that who is doing the product market fit? If it is the founder and they feel good about doing it, you don't need the function necessarily at that point of time, right? Because there is a founder who is or there's somebody who's taking that ownership. They are actually playing the product marketing role.
Fair enough. Yes, we are just about our time's up. And thank you so much, Supriya, for joining in. We'll, there are a couple of other questions. I've noted it down. I'll share it with you, and we can tweet about it later and share your responses and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I can see questions. So I'll be happy to respond to these questions if you can share them with me, Vikrant.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that after we finish our day today.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for joining in, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.